All righty, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. And the question for today would be, uh, what is happening with DACA right now?
Nothing.
Today,
Um, let's do a quick rundown of the litigation because a lot of people are confused. Some people are thinking, let's wait for the Supreme Court. This case is not at the Supreme Court. This case is in some crappy courtroom in Nowhereville, Texas, where the government has filed a second motion for preliminary injunction, which the judge has granted on the new regulations published by Biden last August on the theory that the president doesn't have legal authority to do what he did, which is garbage. Of course he has legal authority to do this, which is different from the first case. The first case was the president didn't follow the rules. Well, now the president's followed the rules. And that's probably one of the reasons why Biden didn't change the dates. I thought it was cowardly of him not to change the dates, but he didn't. So both the Texas and whatever crummy states are also suing, and Biden have both briefed the issue, and we're waiting either on oral argument and then a decision from this judge. So technically, it could come at court any time. But I think this judge, even as partisan as he is struggling to figure out how to say that the president of the United States does not have the authority to enforce immigration laws as he or she sees fit. Without saying that Trump would be stuck the same way, because here's the deal. Let's say he says you can't do it. Well, when Trump comes in and he does something, we're just going to cite this case. Trump can't do this.
right.
So now let's say the judge rules against DACA. All that means is we will continue the status quo because it will go up to the Fifth Circuit. They'll rule on it. They're even more partisan than these guys, depending on which panel we get. Mm-hmm. And they rule against it. Then we go back to the Supreme Court. And all that time, DACA, as it exists currently, continues. So nobody's going to get stuck out of the country traveling on advance parole. No, it's all myth. That's just not going to happen. Like that kind of rumor comes from TikTok lawyers and people who don't understand how the actual litigation system works.
Right. And I feel like even if that happens, it'll be lawsuits and,
Well, there are. I mean, the reality is there's a process. And there's a certain thing that has to happen in that process. And that's why I have no concern whatsoever about that.
Okay. So you guys, you heard it, guys. No concern. Keep traveling. I do have probably 2-3 questions to ask you again. Do you advise or think if somebody has a deportation order, they should travel with advance parole? Oh, I think you're muted. Did I do that? Let's see. You're muted. There you go. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you guys hear? I can't hear you, Charles. I can't hear you at all. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear him? Because I can't hear him on my end. No, nobody can hear you. Nope. Okay. All right, so he's going to log back in and then come back. Okay, there we go. No, nobody can hear him. Try now. Nope. It's fine. We're just... There we go. We're having some technical difficulties. They don't want to hear the truth. Let's see. Are you coming on, Gloria? Nothing. Look at Vanessa. Look at Mama Twin. Oh, bye, Glow. Let's see. Nope. No. It's fine. We'll just risk it. You got it? Okay. Because I don't want to. Okay. Okay. So there you go. You hear it, guys. Just keep renewing, keep traveling.
All right, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
All
All
right,
right.
I don't know what happened to my fancy schmancy audio, but
Nice.
I changed the camera. All right. So everybody should be traveling. I still get, should I travel? I would do my, are you not paying attention to Dreamers Together? Call Hugo. All right. Call Hugo. He's like an evangelist at this point.
Yes, he is.
Go. I mean, I saw some of the stuff recently. Yeah, they just waved me. So many DACA kids are traveling. CBP's like, yeah, whatever. You don't need to go to the Cortito half the time. Whatever. You just go in. So yes, please, please travel. You need because you need to get the travel document. Even if you're not married to a citizen, like one young man emailed me today, his mom is sponsoring him. He was married, he was getting a green card, he got divorced, so his mom's sponsoring him. He's getting the 61A waiver. Yeah, the travel is not going to help him, but you can travel if you want to.
Right, right.
Somebody saw me yesterday. It's really interesting. He goes, I don't really have a reason to travel. I said, sure. What do you do? I'm a general contractor. I said, don't they have building shows in Europe? Don't they have building shows in Canada and Mexico? They must. Google it. That's a business. I mean, a business is this is not mi santísima tía está muriendo. They are. No, I have a business reason to go. My employer. I'm my employer. I need to go to this travel. Boom. They'll approve those like that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. But I said you got to pick a date 4 months out. I mean, it might be faster. And I love the fact. I know you love this, Vanessa. Somebody will get online. I got my permission in 3 days. Don't say that to people. They think that's the standard. Oh, my friend, mi amigo lo recibió en 2 días. No, nobody wants to hear that. Vanessa, what I tell people is this: immigration is like driving home from work. Some night you leave work to get home, and you hit every red light. The next night you leave at 5 o'clock, you hit every green light. Yep. Why? I don't know. I don't know.
It's more predictable.
You don't even know. Who knows? They don't know.
That's funny. I have this one question. Somebody waited for. Okay, there you go. It's for a family member. Is it okay to travel with a combo card if you apply for VAWA and have a pending AOS?
Yeah, it is.
There you have it.
Because VAWA forgives everything. So.
Okay. We just answered that, Marty. Yes, you can travel with a deportation.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, sometimes it makes the motions to reopen a little bit easier. And we are sensing that the Biden administration is becoming a little bit more liberal on agreeing to old motions to reopen. Like we have a client who's got a removal order in '98 when she was 5 because her mom got denied, and her mom left and she stayed. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a legitimate thing to apply for. I mean, I think they'll reopen those. Absolutely. Because here's the deal. You need to do this now. I don't know if Biden's getting reelected. I don't know. There are a lot of dumb people in America that would vote for Trump again, believe it or not. I know. He would bring back that same evil anti-immigration crowd. You need to strike while the iron's hot.
Yep. Take advantage of it right now. Let's see. Karen says, with a voluntary return, do I have to apply for a waiver before I apply for AOS?
Well, this is a great question, Vanessa. What's a voluntary return?
A voluntary return is when we leave the country.
Let me just a little immigration 101. So everybody knows voluntary departure is what a judge gives you so that you don't have an order of deportation. You might still have a 10-year bar. But a voluntary return is what happened historically at the southern border when they would catch you walking through the desert with some coyote, and they would fingerprint you, and they would just send you, Mexican, they would just send you back across the border, and you'd come back the next day with a better coyote and not get caught. Those are not deportations. Those have no legal consequence and do not require a waiver.
Okay, nice. There you have it, Karen. Oh, see, I didn't know that. There you go.
As long as you didn't spend a year illegally in the United States and leave, that one time I had one guy like 7 times. He was the worst luck in the world. 7 days in a row.
Wow.
And then the 8th day, he got a better coyote. So he knew the first name of the officer and picked him up every single time in the same exact place. It was just like.
Hi, Nat. A voluntary. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Nat. Let me see.
Now, if you were one of those people who lied to the Border Patrol and said that I'm Mexican and you got a Guatemalan, well, then you have a fraud waiver problem that you need to get. So.
Okay. That's different. Okay, there we go. Hello, I'm a registered nurse. I've heard that they recently put RNs.
RNs have been on the DOL Schedule A for 40 years. They did not just sponsor them.
Oh my God.
Now, how old exactly were you when you got DACA? If you were less than 18 and one half, then we can do a consular process, no perm needed for that job. If you're over 18 and a half, you're going to need a spouse or a parent to apply for a waiver for you.
Okay. There you have it, Janique.
And by the way, Vanessa, I did a lot of research into the issue of why aren't we treating DACA advanced parolees the same as TPS advanced parolees? And the reason actually boils down to a law. And there's a thing called MTNA, which is the Technical Corrections Act for the Immigration Nationality Act of 1990, that specifically allows TPS people to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But DACA, no. There's no law that lets DACA. That's why I looked at litigating the issue. I think it's a loser. And so, unfortunately, that's why the difference. Okay. Great. You're great. Now, once you get back on advanced parole, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about renewing anything. You're back. You're back in the status you were before, which is DACA. So you're fine.
This is my final request, but I realized I used the wrong dates. Can I request these records again?
What, like your birth date? The only date I can imagine on a DACA would be a birth date. I mean, on FOIA would be a birth date. But you can submit as many. What you do, I assume you did it online because that's how you do FOIAs these days. Just go in, cancel your old one, and put a new one in.
Okay. Do you recommend everybody to get a FOIA, or it's just like
FOIAs are only for people who've had encounters with ICE.
Okay.
If all you've ever done is file a DACA, and you have copies of your DACA, why are you wasting time on it? It doesn't cost anything. Immigration's free. You can do it if you want to. Okay. All you're going to get is what you sent in. That seems like a waste of time. But if you want to do a FOIA, if you've been caught at the border, they fingerprinted you or your mom or dad, and you were with them, or you have some removal issue, do the FOIA to ICE, do the FOIA to EOIR, the Immigration Court, do the FOIA to La Migra, CBP. If you don't have your old case number, you can do what's called an OBIM FOIA, where you take your fingerprints. We do them in our office. We fingerprint people. Do the OBIM FOIA, and they just look for your fingerprints in their fingerprint system going back 30 years. So all of those you can do, and they're all free to the government. We're not in charge for any of them.
Did I do this one? Hello, I just came back to an AP a few days ago. What should my next step be?
Well, and I don't know when in June, but late May, you should begin preparing your adjustment of status application. About 2 weeks before your daughter's birthday, go get a medical exam from one of the approved doctors, and on her birthday, file it. Now, if your daughter has the income, she's got income, and then she needs to do FA support. If she doesn't have income, you then look at yourself. Do you have 10 years of qualifying quarter, 40 quarters, 10 years of income, and you don't need an FA support? So you have to make sure you talk about that as well. I love Natalie. She's awesome.
Yes, me too.
I want to hire Natalie. What are you kidding me? I want to hire Natalie.
Okay, dice Carlos, if I'm visiting my mother-in-law, what documents do I need for advanced parole? You should definitely check our guides. You
need self-defense lessons. That's the mother-in-law. Day's not perfect if you've had a mother-in-law and a lawyer joke. That would be great. You need your birth certificate, your wife's birth certificate, your marriage certificate, and a letter from presumably your mother-in-law's doctor.
Yes.
If it's a sick issue, if it's some other reason, there's a family reunion or there's some other family event, get proof of that. Vanessa, you're probably seeing that immigration is becoming very liberal on these advanced paroles.
Yeah, I feel so. I know.
I haven't seen a denial personally. I've had a denial in years, but I'm sure there's denials every now and then.
Let's see. This is Ruby. I had DACA while on hold.
No, you're still eligible for DACA. Was your DACA denied longer than 1 year? If it was, then you have to wait till the new rule to come back into effect. If it was less than 1 year, they should be adjudicating it. If it was denied longer than that. But I actually sued the government. They actually denied DACA renewal of one of my employees. And so I sued them. I sued she was in deportation proceedings and she shouldn't have been. I sued the ICE attorney personally. I sued the head of the immigration office here. I sued the director of ICE. I sued. You can look it up. We won, and the judge forced them to reinstate her DACA because you just can't deny it. They can't just say we're not going to deny it. We're not going to grant it. That's illegal. When they exercise discretion to change what they were saying before, they have to give a reason.
Right.
So technically, you could still sue if they took it away illegally. I mean, it might be worth suing.
Yeah. So, okay. She just said it was over a year, so that's probably why I got the 9.
You want to sue?
Okay.
I mean, if you can't think of any reason why they did that, I think you win that lawsuit. I'm so sorry, Danny. I'm glad you were able to travel. Glad you're able to travel. At least you've got that great benefit and blessing in your life.
Okay, let's see. It's probably missed. Okay, here goes Natalie again. Good for you.
All right. So if you just send your name in to CBP, say, I want my file, you're probably going to get nothing back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because their name system sucks. You need to go, and that's just a regular CBP FOIA. You need to go get your fingerprints taken. Lots of law firms do them. Police departments do them. There's a fingerprint card you have to fill out, a physical fingerprint card, and you send that to CBP in a hard copy. That's called an OBIM, and OBIM stands for the Office of BIM, Information Management, something like that. It's basically their computer people. And they check a system. That's called US Visit. US Visit is an old system going back like 25, 30 years. And they check your fingerprints, both the 10 print and, more importantly for old people, the index, what they call the IGEN print. And they send you want those records. And they have all your pictures and all your fingerprints and all your entries. And they'll have more. They'll have every DACA print that you took, because it also hooks up to the USCIS fingerprint system. So that's what you want to do. I mean, you don't do a regular FOIA. And a lot of times, what you need is the number, because whenever they take your prints, they assign you a number, typically an A number. And you can, once you do the OBIM results, then you can do a document request to OBIM using your case number. So that's what we usually do.
All right, let's take the last question here from Carla. Dice Carla, I'm a DACA from Mexico. My mom recently received her green card through my brother. Can I apply for a green card through her? If so, how long does that process take?
If you're single, 30 years.
Too long.
Presumably you're over 21, 30 years. If you're under 21, it takes like 2 years.
Okay, well.
21, like 30 years. Because in immigration law, you're a child until you're 21. Mm-hmm. And if your mom files you before you're 21, then you freeze your age. So if you're over 21, which you probably are, then you unfortunately get in a very long line. So your best option is to fall in love with somebody who, and obviously you want to check their papers first if you fall in love. I mean, obviously.
All right, so we're gonna let Charles go. Thank you so much for being here.
There's a couple more questions here.
All right, I'm trying to make sure. Okay, let's see. Wilmer has a question. Here we go, Wilmer. Can someone with a DACA?
Yes, you can get AP while your court case is open. But the reality is, if you reopen, you should be immediately filing to terminate it. I mean, immediately file to terminate it if it's reopened. But yeah, you can request advance parole, not a problem.
Let's see. Can my employer sponsor me if I have a legal entry with AP?
Only if your mom, dad are citizens or residents, unfortunately. The advance parole only works for immediate relative green cards, that is spouse or child over the age of 21.
Okay.
Doesn't work for employers.
I might have missed a question.
Look at Ruby. Ruby's got a question.
Where's Ruby?
Ruby's just up a little bit.
Oh, she was the one that said that, it was over a year?
Yeah, so, go down. It was just below Wendy. Keep going. A couple more. 517. It's at 517.
There you go.
All right. I got a sibling from two. Oh, so you have a sibling who was old enough to sponsor you in 2001 to prove. Oh, you're 245I. Well, no, it's August. Are you sure about the date it was filed? Because if it was, I mean, you need to do a FOIA. He needs to do a FOIA and get that filing and see when it was received, because those dates are closing in. So the priority date for siblings for Mexico is April 01. So you're closing in on that date. But again, you would need a if you got DACA. Now, if you got DACA, yeah, because you can't adjust for this. You're going to have to consular process. But if you got DACA before you're 18 and a half, then you can consular process through your brother. So you should definitely talk to a lawyer.
Yeah. There you go. This is Giselle. If someone gets approved for VAWA, but they have a permanent bar, could the work permit be taken away anytime?
VAWA pardons the permanent bar.
So it will cancel out. There you go.
There is no permanent bar if you have VAWA.
There you
go. I had DACA, my father. I gotta do it. That sounds like a 245I case. Yeah. If you were physically present, because remember, it's not just being the beneficiary of the application. You have to have been physically in the United States on December 20th, 2000, and you have to prove it. Prove it. That's the hard part. Prove it. 23 years later. Manuel Villafana, you see? I just should apply for a green card. I don't know, 2 seconds. 3 seconds, maybe 4. How long you done kissing? Because as soon as you're done kissing, that's your green card.
ASAP. Zion, thank you. I'm applying for AP. Do I need to do the dentist letter from Mexico? Can I be a picture?
I mean, a picture of Mexico? What? There's a misplaced modifier. You have to actually use better grammar, okay? A picture of Mexico? No, that will not. I want to go to this country. Beautiful mariachis. No, that's not going to get you AP. Are you saying that the letter from the dentist is a picture of the letter? Well, that's fine. Mm-hmm. So
they can send to WhatsApp, a text, email, scan it.
What item are you modifying with the word picture? Misplaced modifier. All right.
Hello, Vanessa. I'm in Mexico con AP. Pensé en agosto, pero hice mi renewal y la aprobaron hoy. All right. Congrats.
They approved your DACA renewal. Yeah. Come back before August. Now, Vanessa, we just got the other person back from Honduras.
Yes. Andrea just came back.
It's just politics, and it just takes a long time to grind that through. But once again, if you're going to travel on advance parole, do not wait till the last day to travel.
It's crazy. Let's see here. This is Chiara. My grandma's in Peru is getting cataract surgery scheduled for 2021. I'm sitting up.
Well, if you gave that reason, they're probably going to ask for more information for a different reason.
Right.
So, I mean, how old is your grandmother? She's got to be like 60, 70, or 80, and she's in Peru, so that's like being 100. I mean, she's got other issues. She get a letter from a different doctor. My grandmother's really sick, or I'm sure her husband probably passed away. So get a velorio, man. Just call the priest. Set up, pay $50. They'll have a great velorio for him.
I have a U-Visa application since 2019.
Keep renewing your DACA. You're not going to get a U-Visa for like 15 years. There's only 10,000 U-Visas a year. In 2019, there was 140,000 pending applications.
Wow.
What you will get eventually is deferred action. And then you don't have to renew your DACA because that deferred action is not going away. But for now, you need to renew your DACA.
There you go. This is Wilmer.
So she went to a local office to try to get an emergency advance parole. You should have tried to use a lawyer, honestly. I mean, the local offices are idiots. They're staffed by idiots. Sometimes you just got to bring somebody bigger along. It's a bigger bully than they are.
Yeah. Period.
It's true. A lot of times I go to immigration, I don't say a word.
We know they're not going to say nothing.
I'll go to a green card interview. I'll say, "Officer, great to see you."
That's it.
I won't say a word. I'll just sit there the whole time. 10 minutes later, we're done. I mean, honestly, what you're paying a lawyer to do when they go there is to keep the government in line.
Pretty much. Okay.
It's really that simple. So look at Alma. Alma Hidalgo. I'm in Mexico. The AP. I did not renew. Give her. Oh, okay. Great.
Nice. Congrats.
All right. Deportation order. So what you need to be doing on day, you would travel, come back. prepare the adjustment of status application, and file a motion to reopen. Depending on where you were ordered deported, how old were you? Did you go to the hearing? All those things come into account when we think about reopening a case, or just doing an I-212. I mean, they go for a pardon or a waiver. You need to have a lawyer really deal with that issue because it's really kind of complicated.
Yes. Dice Unica. Dijeron que tengo que esperar 10 años porque entré con visa B2 y tengo el castigo de 10 años porque entré y salí y me quedé más del tiempo. ¿Y que será acusada de fraude? ¿Qué me aconseja?
No te aconseja nada porque no entiendo su pregunta.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yo no entiendo lo que estás diciendo. ¿Quién le dijo? Me dijeron. ¿Quiénes dijeron?
¿Quién fue?
Aaron, where are you? Aaron, where are you? Where's Aaron? I don't know where Aaron is. Someone has an idea proof for anyone now a DACA with Advanced Pro. What's the best way to adjust status? Who filed for you? Who's the petitioner? Mom?
I think his mom did, yeah.
Are they citizens? Did you get DACA before you were 8? I mean, you can't adjust because you're not an immediate relative, so you're gonna need the consular process. That hopefully you got your DACA before you're 18.
Okay.
Let me go back a second. Go back a second to that. If your parent was a citizen and you got approved, you're still an immediate relative if it's less than a year from the approval. If it's more than a year from the approval, then the Child Status Protection Act doesn't apply. So we need more information, basically. All right.
All right, but the green card is where permanent bar.
Again, there is no permanent bar for someone approved for VAWA because VAWA pardons the permanent bar. She's just getting a green. She'll get a work card with a pending adjustment application, and then she'll get a green card.
Okay. So steps.
There's steps.
Question. Okay, this is Wendy. Can you get a T visa for garnished tips and national wages while I'm as a minor? Just no police report.
Probably not. I know there's a lot of TikTok T lawyers. Oh, I can get you a green card. I can get you on TikTok. That it would be a marginal case. And I'm assuming this is a waitress, and there's weird things that happen in the restaurant industry.
What is a T visa? What is a T visa?
He's a victim of sex or human trafficking or labor trafficking.
Okay.
But there is, rather than a T visa, the Biden administration has a new deferred action program for this that probably definitely would apply. But you have to you also have to make a complaint to the Department of Labor. So again, we need to know the details, Wendy.
Okay. This is Natalie.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody has December 20th, 2000, it's a random date. Most people can get back in the day when you actually took pictures and developed them, sometimes the camera put the date on the front, but always on the back, there's a developing date. So you can see where you were at the time. Sometimes there's tax return. Sometimes if you're old enough, you had, or if it's your parents, the principal, they had a money, a remittance they send back to Mexico. Maybe it's, they had a Blockbuster card or something. I mean, I've used all kinds of crazy evidence to try to do one of these 245I cases these days.
Let's see. New edition on the 485 says grounds of in. Can you explain what it means?
Wait a second. You're asking the question of yourself?
No, that's my twin. Or I'm looking at the name Vanessa Garcia. No, that's my twin.
Sure, that's not you? It looks like you. Looks like you. You're asking grounds of admissibility refer to Section 212 of the Immigration Nationality Act, which has somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 grounds of inadmissibility. They've always asked for grounds of inadmissibility. That's all the questions. Are you a communist? Are you a Nazi? Or my favorite question on the 45, have you ever committed a crime for which you have not been arrested?
You're going to tell yourself.
I love that question. The answer, by the way, is no.
So, right. So I'm guessing this is what you're talking about, Natalie, right? The same thing we just said right now. Public charge. So
Well, I don't. We're going to have to do that a different week because that is a whole. Maybe I'll do that on my next live next Wednesday. I'm not going to be live. I've got an issue. I'll do it on my next live. That's a good point. Good question.
All righty.
Okay, 212A. Okay, 212A4 is the ground of terrorism. I mean, all you got to do is use the Google machine. INA 212. You do 212. That comes up. First things come up is 8 USC 1182. You scroll down to A4. A4 is where's 4? 4 is public charge. That's what public charge. So the answer is the answer to that question for most people is yes. You are subject to them looking at it because VAWA's not subject to it. U visa is not subject to it. T visa is not subject, but every marriage case is subject to that. Then that requires an 864.
Okay.
That's what that means, Vanessa.
All righty. Ruby.
U visas pardon prior deportations too, and permanent bars.
Okay.
There you go. Actually, Nadia, you can't. Well, let me take a step back. You can apply for advanced parole, but you'll be applying for you just got deferred action. You didn't get the U visa, so you can apply for advanced parole under the U visa.
Okay.
That's your active advanced parole now. Immigration has something called the last action rule. Sorry, there's light coming through my window. While I'm moving around like a clown. Immigration has something called the last action rule, and your status, your position depends on the last thing the government did. In this case, it was deferred action for you. So that's the advanced parole you're asking for, and that does not require special. That's like TPS.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Hidalma.
Well, what I would tell you, if I'm your lawyers, I would sue them. And within 2 months of suing them, they're going to approve your case, or sooner. That's what's going to happen. Really. And if you want to use a local lawyer, I know a great lawyer. I'm near Baltimore. Yep, that's called alien smuggling. You're going to need a 601A waiver for that. Now, the thing is, immigration here frequently doesn't ask that, but it's on the form. Have you ever assisted anybody to come illegally to the country? You have to answer yes. Submit a 601. They'll approve. It's an easy approve. It's a basically 100% approval. Okay. They just want their ounce of flesh. They want their $930.
Yeah.
Pay it, and don't worry about it.
I was gonna say, my mother, she got her green card. Or my brother, he's 21. I don't think she's.
Well, because she probably answered no to the question.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Let's see. My father requested me back in his.
Juliana, you cannot adjust through your father because you're not an immediate relative. So if you got your DACA before you were 18 and a half, then you're going to need the consular process without a waiver. You don't need a waiver. If it was after 18 and a half, you're going to need a waiver, and you can do that because you have a father.
Laura.
Yeah, 100%. Your mom and dad are going to get green cards. Congratulations.
Nice.
You're married and have DACA. Laura, are you married to a U.S. citizen? And if so, why do you still have DACA and not a green card? That's my question. My dad was intercepted. What is he, like a missile? Was he traveling like a missile and they intercepted him with a galactic shot from the sky? He was apprehended. The word is apprehended, Carla. Trying to cross the border, can apply for everything. Well, he probably has voluntary charge. This is the kind of case where you do fingerprints, do an OBIM FOIA, find out what happened, and then ask the question.
Okay.
And then last, we have Hazel. I'm on the same boat. What boat exactly? Like the Titanic? That was bad. You know? Or is it like a Carnival cruise ship? For actually 2 years now, active AP, it expires on. If you have an active AP, yeah, you can travel on that. Okay. If you have an active AP, you can travel on that with your DACA. That's not a problem. Because there's only one type of AP. I mean, it's just the AP. If I apply to get a legal interest, anything that helps me justify status for being in the UD for over 15 years, other than the UD.
US? Maybe US.
Is that like being in the OC? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Me podrían negar la residencia si solo tengo 8 meses de pruebas con mi pareja. No. I assume they're applying for a green card.
Yeah.
Um,
This is funny.
so let's look at the last one, Elizabeth, and I got to go. Can I expedite a combo card for a second time? I said, so you're going to have that program pre-run away, but you have to expire. Call the you're going to waive. I just have to continue waiting, but I would like to expedite the combo card. Yeah, you can expedite many times. You have a reason to expedite. That may cause them when you show up at their office. Oh, why don't we just adjust your status?
There you go. Boom.
Okay.
Hey. All right, guys. Thank you, Charles, for being here with us. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.